Welcome to Mad as Hell University. I am delighted that you're with us today. Today, we continue putting forward constructive information that helps you defend your community. And beyond defending your community, taking back your community. Why is this important? Well, this country was built for the people, by the people, of the people. It wasn't built for the leaders, by the leaders, of the leaders. It's for the people. That's you and I. And we're in this mess we're in right now because we collectively have forgotten that the way our country was designed was by active participation by everybody. I, as you know, have been that guy who thought someone else is going to take care of it. You know what? My pastor he's the one who's going to take care of it. You know, at school, high school principals and teachers, they'll take care of it. The city council people at my city will take care of it. President Trump will take care of it. This senator or this governor will take care of it. All I got to do is pay my taxes and do my job and take care. No, folks, that opportunity or that way of life, if it even existed, is no longer available. Today, we're at a point in time where the quality of life for you and your children, me and my children, are a direct function of whether or not you and I step up. And we got not just to step up, but we have to step up and collaborate. I want you to be thinking about how can you work together with other people in your community to deliver the win that's needed. Well, how are we going to have that conversation? Well, you know what? We're going to bring someone onto our conversation today, Ken Wernick. And the reason we're going to bring Ken on, in fact, yeah, there you go. There's Ken right there. I'm so delighted you're here, Ken. Thanks for being with us. And I just want to brag on you a
Thank you.
little bit. Ken and I got connected before we actually met. We got connected to a Defend Challenge. But Ken, guess what? Ken's background, he's got two phenomenal pieces of background that he's using right now to protect and serve this country, to take back the reliability of our elections. And I don't know if you're going to guess this, but he has demonstrated the ability to bring young men and young students together into a winning team. He's actually a coach. This doesn't get any more grassroots than it could. Ken is just like you and I. He is not some politician. He's not an elected official. He's not some speaker or author. He's a regular guy just like you and I. And he's actually taking action. But it's not just taking action, he's taking action that delivers the win. Not only that, as we get into this interview, you're going to hear another part of Ken's background. And this background is connected with 9/11. So I'm not going to tell you what that is. I want you to stay here, stay tuned, because what Ken's about to share with us has winning principles. It has successful strategies, and you can adopt this wherever you are, no matter what your fight is, whether it's election integrity or Second Amendment or what have you. Ken, thanks for being here with me. How are you today?
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Ken, let's get right into it. Tell the folks a little bit about why, two things. Why you're doing the things you're doing, because you care about this country. I get it. And what are some of the things that you're doing? And you're doing it up there in Pennsylvania. The floor is yours. Show the folks a little bit about your background.
Okay. I decided to get involved, of course, after the 2020 election, and I started looking into things and reading things about some of the data, and saw some of the issues, and as well as I thought that it is time that citizens do get involved. So I got involved with Defend Our Union, and I got involved in communicating messages. Now, to get into that, I'm involved a little bit within the election integrity in 2020. But to speak about the winning approach, and I've coached football for many years, for about 10 years now. The last couple of years, I've been coaching basketball as well. And to give an example about and what you spoke about with the negativity, I'm going to give you an example of this year. Our team was 1-3. The first game that we lost, and I meant this, it was not lying to the team. I told them it was my fault. It wasn't their fault that I didn't prepare them for that game. There was something that I didn't tell them or teach them at practice that I should have, and that I wouldn't let it happen again. And not only what didn't sound like a cliched speech, I was telling the truth. That's exactly was the truth. And after that, I made it my business to prepare them. What I noticed in this team, other than any other team, is they didn't blame each other. They didn't blame me. They didn't blame anybody. They went back to work. They went to hard work. They never got negative. And before I finish on where I am now, I'm going to the championship game tomorrow. We won 8 in a row. Now, I don't know if we're going to win, but I hope we do. But one of the strategies that worked was the fact that we were not divided. We stayed together. The second thing that worked is I got thrown out of 2 games. When I did, I had a sub coach. We were 1-3. The coach ended up winning 2 games, and now we were 3-3. So I wasn't stubborn and jealous or saying, "Oh man," I said, "What did you do, coach? You got us back in the game. Now we're 3-3." And he told me what he did. And I said, "I'm going to use that." Change the offense. He did a couple things. Well, since using that, we've gone on a run. They never got negative. They never got down. And they were never divided. They were always unified up till right now. And that's what I have to do. When I was comparing this to the conservative movement, and we were talking about General Flynn, I was telling Raj in a previous conversation that I noticed a lot on the media, a lot of negativity between people, Flynn, other people. I don't want to get into names, but Flynn, who's been like a loyal hero guy, served in the military. He's a very impressive background and a hero. How could people get negative on him? I don't know the inner workings of things, but I said to Raj in a previous conversation, people are frustrated. And when they do, they look for a scapegoat, as always happens. They get divided. When they get divided, you don't win. You never win. When you're losing, a greater resolve to win is the only way you win. When you get frustrated and you're saying, "Oh, this one," you only get divided. You have to build. If you want to say, "This is what we need to do better," we need to do this, this, and this better. And we need to be intense and we need to win. Now, even if you look at what's going on with the audits, one day it looks like everything's rolling and rolling and rolling. And as Bannon would say, the train has left the station, and then all of a sudden the train's not moving. So you're thinking, wow, it's all done. And next thing you know, all of a sudden there's a bigger momentum. Then there's no momentum. The end is not, it's a fluid situation. So we got to keep moving. And that's the whole point, with the same strategy that we need to employ.
We sure do. We should. In fact, as you listen to Kenny here, you can see there's some specific actions, and Mattis Hell University is all about actions. So let's just break that down. I want to make sure we didn't cap, because these things that he talked about are critical, and we're not doing them at the level we can and must and need to in order to get the victory. Number one, the leader takes responsibility. Buck stops with the leader. And everyone, if you're working to defend your community, you are a leader. So take responsibility for whatever's happening in your organization, not pointing fingers, own it. Americans, ICAN, I can. That's what in the word American, it says ICAN, I can. So be that kind of mindset. Number one. Number two, learn from other people that are winning. That's why you're on listening to the show. You're here to learn from what Kenny's doing. Kenny learned from his coach. He's not trying to hog the stage. He's not trying to be the media personality. He is a servant leader. That's what's required. So that's number two. Number three, you have to, when things get bad, hunker down and be more determined to work together to win. You heard Kenny say that. And now, just before I interrupted him, Kenny was tying it all together, bring it back to election integrity, because with election integrity, as you were just about to say, Kenny, they're really different parts of that, right? When we say election integrity, we just have to understand that they're different components. Just like you got a quarterback, you got a tackle, you got a tight end, you got all of these different positions. you've got different groups, different subgroups that they've all got to work together. Kenny, tell us a little bit more about why that's so important and how that's essential to getting a win for election integrity or whatever cause you have in your community.
Well, okay, the first step you need is a mission. Like in sports, obviously, it's to win. But what is winning in election integrity? Winning is to take the information that you have, present it to your legislature, your state legislature, your governor, and propose, and then have bills. So you're saying, based upon this information, we need a bill, or we have this suggestion for election integrity. And you must realize that the end game is what's important. What happens, I find, I get a lot of data from a lot of people about 2020, and I find that, so 10 million people have the data, but what does it mean if there's no coordination? And I was telling Raj previously, in the Battle of Kasserine Pass in 1942, when Lord Friedendale, who preceded Patton, they said, what was the problem? Why did he lose? He said everybody had tasks, but there was no coordination. So you need to have coordination. And so what I said specifically, in order to win election integrity, you got to have a ground game. You obviously need your mission, but you need your intake team. Your intake team is going to get you all the information, where the problems are, what the voter rolls, where you got to focus. And then your supervisory team will say, okay, we need audits in this county, canvas in this counties, or audits, we need the canvas here. I'm going to send this amount of people here, this amount of people here, this amount of people here. You got to keep taking in information. You can't, the intake unit has to always be existing to get all that information so the team can make a decision where to go. Then you need an executive administrative team that's going to say, okay, with all this good information, I'm taking this to the legislature. I found out that I did a canvas in X County, and I saw that 30% of the canvas was not good, so was not accurate. So here's what we're going to do. We'll tell them the voter rolls have to be updated, or, that goes into whatever they say, be it machines or ballots and drop boxes and all that other stuff. Then they will go to the legislature and say, hey, this is what we got. This is what we need. And you get a team together and this is, if you want to, and then we have messaging. The messaging says the people know what's going on, and you won't win if you don't pass election integrity. In fact, I don't know how anybody can ever think they're going to win if they don't pass any type of election integrity bills. I think we've learned that lesson already. So anybody who wants to be a so-called rhino, they're not going to win. So you tell them, hey, unless you want to lose, go ahead and lose. But if you want to win, and you want to win fairly, this is what you need to do.
If you're listening, if you're listening to what Kenny's saying, see, so we talk about election integrity, we talk about Second Amendment, we talk about health freedom, we talk about all of these things. We talk about, hey, we want this, we don't want that, all of which is good. But notice how Kenny broke it down. Intake team, executive team, presentation team. And what Kenny just described is exactly how Defend Florida is doing with all of its hundreds and thousands of people, how it's doing what it's doing. You've got thousands of people that opt in. Then all of those people, certain number of people say, I'm going to do canvassing. Some of them are going to look at the data. Some of them are going to make the presentation. Some of them are going to follow up on the presentations. This is how it has to be done. Well, why do you say it has to be done? Folks, you're just listening to Ken Wernick. He has taken teams to the championship level. How do you take these kids who haven't won a championship before? How do you get them? How do you develop them? How do you accelerate their performance so that they achieve the wins? Because that's what we all want, right?
Laser focused on the mission. Nothing else. Nothing else. See? And that's what all the stuff doesn't matter. You got to have everything in place.
This is so important what Kenny's talking about. So now what we're going to do now is we're going to take, in about a minute, we're going to take a break we want to acknowledge our sponsors. But before we do that, we want to let you know about 3 hypercritical events that are happening. And I'm going to ask Mitchell to put these events on the screen here, because the first one here is so important, because this gives us an opportunity for us to collaborate together. And Mitchell, if you want to just put the title of the first one on, these are all happening in the next couple of weeks. The first one is Defend Florida. This is Defend Florida's event. This is happening on February 5th, and it's happening in Tampa. Go to defendflorida.org. Why is this an event that you absolutely have to get to? Because we've got Dan Schultz, the person who talked about precinct strategy, doing a workshop. You got folks like General Michael Flynn, who will be there talking about important things, providing leadership. Patrick Byrne, Roger Stone, Jovan Pulitzer, Bobby Pydon, KrisAnne Hall, Dr. Douglas Frank, Graham Ledger's the MC. Folks, you've got to be there at this very, very important event. And a few days before that, keep your eyes open. There's a massive press release that's coming on as well. Second event that's coming up after that, that's the first one is Defend Florida, is the Hope Crusade. Reverend Kevin Jessup and the Hope Crusade with the return. That is on January 29th, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. You can also attend that virtually. So make sure you get to the return.org and make sure you either show up at the event or watch that live. And the third event, this is so important, this is happening in Texas. If you're concerned about the border, about people that are not going through our process for entering the country like I did, you got to attend this event. It's called We Stand America, westandamerica.com. That's January 29th to 30th. Now, we're going to take a minute for a break to acknowledge our sponsors, and then we're going to come back right to Kenny. And we're back. Thank you, folks. Today, you've been learning about how Ken Wernick, who is an activist, is taking folks and putting them in a winning combination, a winning strategy. Ken, I told the folks that there was one other piece of your background connected with 9/11, where you also had to work in an organized, systematic way, where you had to keep your eye on the mission, not just tactics or assignments, but coordination. Tell the folks what that was all about, Ken.
Okay. First of all, the word activist, I'm a concerned citizen, and I just wanted to straighten that out.
Concerned citizen. This is so good. That's a really important definition. He's a concerned citizen that is inspiring other people to protect the country. Very good, Kenny. Go back.
Oh, well, I had law enforcement background. We get into supervisory background. And what I was telling Raj is I said, without getting into any specifics, when a complaint would come in after 9/11, there would be an intake unit, there would be an investigative unit, then we would communicate to the supervisor what went on. Decisions would be made, teams would be brought in, decisions whether it was good information or bad information, and in a strategy. And the point that I was making with earlier are the 2 points. One is you can't just have like a data guy. What do you do with the data? You got to bring that, you got to analyze the data. And that's what we did, after I did criminal investigations as well, all kinds of investigations, as well as patrol for many years. And it was the same concept. You get your information, you put it through your analysis. It may take a split second, it may take years, and you take action. And that's, you can't have a finish. Even if the conclusion is there's nothing to speak here, you got to always have the steps to make the conclusion. It may be seconds, like I said, it may be years, but that's got to be done. You can't win without that. You've got to stay united. It doesn't matter who you're working with. And what I was talking about, now you mentioned General Flynn, what we mentioned earlier, I think this is important. You talked about leaders and blame. Flynn is considered he's a hero. And he is a man that we all look up to. So we feel that if we're not accomplishing what we want to accomplish, which has been frustrated, we look to divide. And that's unnecessary. That's wrong. We have to say, no, we appreciate what you're doing. You're working hard. You worked hard. You're a military hero. And we appreciate it. And rather than being divided and then say, no, people are frustrated. When they're frustrated, this happens in sports. They end up unnecessarily and unreliably calling other teammates names. You never win that way. You have to win by saying, yeah, the guy's trying to get us to the right place, but we know what we need to do, and we need to do these steps. And we got to keep at it. And if we don't win, we'll find another way to win legitimately.
As you're listening to Ken, you can even see the difference. How when we talk with honor and we talk with regard, it lifts the energy in the room. It inspires people to take action. So my guest today on Mattis Hill University has been Ken Wernick. Mitchell, for the folks that want to get in touch with Ken, let's put his email address on the screen as well. Ken is a person who is a concerned citizen. He's inspiring people to take action. The thing that Ken articulated today, you got to have coordination. You got to have organization. You got to have your eye on the ball. You got to keep unified and use the three things that I just mentioned as ways to keep unified, because there'll be a lot of reasons that will cause people to be divisive, and that never ever works. Ken, I so appreciate you being on the show today. Thank you very much, especially for the work that you're doing and the results that you're achieving. I hope that you'll come back to Mattis Hill University on another episode. Folks, make sure that if you haven't done already, that you follow us on CloutHub. You follow us with Dr. John Diamond on Brighteon TV, America Unhinged. Follow us on Rumble. We look forward to seeing you on the next episode really soon.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes, absolutely, Ken.
I just want to, I admire the success that you guys defend Florida, defend our union. You are the prototype, and we all appreciate it.
Thank you, Ken. So appreciate it. Have a great rest of the evening, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care. Okay, bye.